Well, I'm happy to jump in early and help. So, when I first saw that the theme of this conference is deliver value in your space, I thought, well, what if I'm someone who needs a little bit of help in finding my space, finding what that is? So, I did a very scientific LinkedIn search into the space of agile and who is out there. And I found that there are a lot of people in the greater agile space. And when I think about all of us out there doing our own thing, I imagine that we have our own bubbles, our own space within that bubble, if you will. And that is formed by our history, our experience, our expertise, our personalities. And what we do is we, in our bubbles, drift into and out of the spaces of others. We are learning things, we're taking things, we're bringing them back to our own space. We're kicking out stuff from our bubble that doesn't serve us, that we're not interested in anymore. And then at the end of the day, we come back to our space, our own identity. And when you are asked what that space is, and you will be asked in job interviews, you will be asked in certification applications, you're going to be asked at conferences. You want to be able to say, this is me. This is what I bring to Agile. Maybe I'm a product owner. Maybe I'm a trainer. Maybe I specialize in play because I want teams to have fun. I want customers to have a voice. I want to teach people. This is who I am and why. And this is what you will get from sharing my space. So this is my space. This is what it looks like inside of my bubble. I'm Season. I'm an agile coach, and I work with teams to embrace the awkward moments of agile to align on purpose, motivation, continuous improvement to deliver value to our customers. This is what my space used to look like. This was the inside of my bubble. Because if you had asked me even just a few months ago why I'm a coach, I would have given you a very surface level answer like, I like helping, or I want people to be happy, or I want to partner with organizations on their success. Is that space interesting to you? Is it unique? Do you want to be in this bubble? I don't. It feels empty. It feels superficial. How about this space? I want people and teams to find a sense of purpose and belonging and to be celebrated for showing up fully as their authentic selves because it's something that I didn't always get to experience myself. That's way more powerful for others. And that is way more powerful for myself. If you want to deliver value in your space, then this work of finding what your space is required. You have got to figure out why you're here because this is going to be your lens. This is how you market yourself to other people. Your space is a game changer. I have got to warn you, doing the work to find your space is not going to be easy. Oh my God, I hated so much of it. To find my space, I had to trace my journey all the way back to high school, which was not a place I ever wanted to go again, and examine those feelings of not feeling accepted and not belonging. And it's when I hit those areas of like, I don't want to go here, that's when I knew that that was the work that I needed to do. So, what is this work that I'm talking about? I'm talking about people who have already established their space. So when I go to a meetup or I go to a conference, I look around and I go, oh, that's the person who talked about neurodiversity and ADHD. That's her space. Or, oh, that's the person who is passionate about imposter syndrome. Or, this is the person who wrote the book on retrospectives. These are people who have found their space and they have made their space known. And I talk to them. You bet that after each talk, I've been hitting up the people on LinkedIn. I'm going to be asking them some questions. I want to know what brought you here? What were you doing before? What are you going to do next? I want to learn from people who have come to their space before me because that's going to help me define my space. If finding your space is the number one thing that you can do to deliver value, I think the number two thing you can do is to get your own coach or your own mentor or your own therapist. I have all three and use them to reflect to find your own space. So this whole journey, this whole space thing, it started when I was working with my own mentor and we were starting on the Scrum Alliance CTC application. And there's one of those questions that's like, why are you here? Why are you a coach? And I said something like, oh, I like helping people. And my mentor said, you are not making my heart beat. It's like, okay, I like helping teams. No. I want teams to achieve high performance. No, no. And after a little while of that, I was like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing most of the time. I'm awkward and that's okay. And I want teams to know that that's okay too. And we're all doing the best that we can. And I'm just here to sit in that feeling with them. And I was like, oh, we we got somewhere. And I never would have gotten there without outside help. My first job out of college was as a flight attendant. And then I went back to school and I studied to become a librarian. I took some time off to work with animals, ended up working in tech, and now I'm an agile coach. There's more to that. That's a really high level summary of how I got here, but this is where my bubble landed. This is my space. I really like it here, and this is where I will be staying. You're not going to know what your own space is until you try out many different spaces, work at different companies, take on different roles, read books, take classes, teach classes. And I would challenge you to find a space that you think that you're not going to like and spend some time in that space because you might surprise yourself or it might reinforce that this is something you really don't want to do. I recently was in a role where somehow I was in charge of a multi-million-dollar budget for a team at a major entertainment company. I hated every minute of it, and budgets will never be in my space. But I got to teach a class recently, help out with a Scrum Master certification class, and I felt parts of me just light up. And I want to explore that and bring that into my space. Your space does not ever have to be perfect. It may feel a little upside down at times. It can be quirky. It's there for you to explore. Because your space is always under construction, it's always changing. You don't have to be, the test-driven development expert forever. You can look into backlog prioritization, whatever it is. Your space is multifaceted and be proud of it. Share it, change it. That's how you find your space. And that is how you start to deliver value in it. Thank you for sharing this space today.